For millennia, lighthouses have stood as solitary guardians against the fury of the sea. They are symbols of hope, guiding countless souls to safety. But for the keepers who maintained these isolated beacons, the story was often different. Cut off from the world, battered by endless storms, and trapped with only their own minds for company, these men and women sometimes encountered things far more terrifying than any ocean gale. These are not just tales of maritime heroism. These are chronicles of isolation so profound it cracked the human psyche, and perhaps opened doors to something beyond our understanding. Our first stop is the tempestuous coast of Wales, 1801, the Smalls Lighthouse, a lonely rock tower in a furious sea. For weeks, passing ships saw distress signals from its keepers, but monstrous winter gales made rescue impossible. When the seas finally calmed, a relief crew clambered onto the rocks. What they found was a scene from a Gothic nightmare. The two keepers, known to despise each other, had faced a grim dilemma. One had died of natural causes. The survivor, terrified he would be accused of murder if he buried his colleague at sea, did the only thing he could think of. He built a makeshift coffin, lashed it to the outside railings, and waited for help. But the relentless wind had shattered the coffin. For weeks, the surviving keeper lived alone, watching as the arms of the rotting corpse swayed and scraped against the lighthouse windows with every gust. The rescuers found a man driven to the brink of insanity, convinced the corpse of his former enemy was beckoning him to join it in the deep. Cross the Atlantic to the rocky shoals of Boon Island, Maine, 1855. Newlyweds Lucas and Kathleen Bright arrived to tend the new lighthouse, a dream of solitude. 4 months later, in a howling December storm, the light went out. Fishermen who braved the tempest found a scene of heartbreak. In the cold tower, they discovered the emaciated, feverish Kathleen cradling the frozen body of her husband. In a whisper, she told her story. Lucas had been swept off the rocks by a rogue wave. She tied a rope to her waist, plunged into the icy chaos, and dragged him back, but she couldn't save him. For a week, she kept the lamp lit alone until the fever from her rescue took hold. After her death, the island was never peaceful. Mariners reported a spectral woman in white standing on the rocks. Keepers heard phantom footsteps and taps at the door. In the 1970s, a keeper's Labrador would growl at empty rooms, chase invisible figures across the stones, and return to the cottage trembling with fear. Kathleen's ghost, they said, forever bound to the island by love and loss. Now to the hell of the Pondures, a graveyard of ships off Brittany, France. In 1875, the Phare de Tévennec was built to tame these deadly waters, but the lighthouse seemed to bring a curse upon its keepers. The first keeper, Henri Guinec, reported whispers in the dark, voices in Breton and Flemish warning him the island was damned. He was ordered to stay silent. His successor, a man named Milliner, was found manic and wild-eyed, begging to be taken away, tormented by the same murmuring chorus that now invaded his very bedroom. Tragedy became routine. One keeper was found dead in the lamp room. Another, Malgorn, was discovered in his bed, arms rigidly raised as if fending off an unseen attacker. A keeper named Rapaz brought his elderly father. The old man complained of moving shadows in his room before he was found with his throat cut. Even a priest's attempt to exorcise the island with buried crucifixes only provided a temporary peace. The whispers of the drowned, it seemed, were a permanent fixture. Finally, a case that defies supernatural explanation. Isla de Lobos, Uruguay, October 1972. A military detachment mans the lighthouse. On the night of the 28th, Corporal Juan Fuentes steps out to check the generators. What he sees stops him cold. On the roof of the generator building, 6 meters off the ground, hovers a silent, unknown craft. Beneath it, 3 figures in tight black diving suits tend to their vehicle. Their heads are bulbous, elongated. As Fuentes reaches for his sidearm, an paralyzing electric shock courses through his body. A powerful foreign thought implants itself in his mind. Firing your weapon is useless. The figures climb aboard. The craft vibrates, lifts without sound or exhaust, and streaks away over the Atlantic. Back at the American Embassy in Montevideo, Fuentes and his captain are debriefed for hours. The official conclusion: the authorities had no idea what he saw, but they had no reason to doubt him. The incident remains an open, unexplained file in the annals of UFO encounters, a visitation at one of the most isolated places on Earth. So, what haunts these lonely towers? Is it the sheer soul-crushing weight of isolation manifesting as paranoia and phantom sounds? The residual trauma of past tragedies echoing through the stone? Or, as the case on Isla de Lobos suggests, could these remote outposts be waypoints for visitors not of this world, places so deserted they become perfect for a clandestine stop? As the world's lighthouses fall silent, automated and devoid of human keepers, we may never know. The truth is left to the crashing waves, the crying gulls, and the enduring legends of the sea. The beacons may still shine, but the stories of what happened in their shadow will forever haunt the shore.